Swagger's back in the White House, and it's not just coming from the Oval. The briefing room today felt a little different. Karoline Leavitt, for the first time, was behind the podium, and there was not a binder in sight. The press secretary said, "My binder is in my head." And right away, she set a new tone.
While I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
Karoline Leavitt's 27, has a baby, not a binder, has access to the president, and can speak English. Oh, and her hair is as golden as the age we're in. She didn't waste anyone's time with shenanigans. She came right out and announced the drones in Jersey were ours.
I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
So Biden lied. The whole administration acted like we were crazy, and we were right. We were just testing out some new gadgets over our own territory. It wasn't the Iranians or the Chinese or aliens. It was Joe. After that revelation, the media wanted to move on, and they blamed Trump for inflation.
Egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. What's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage.
Reporters kept trying to play games, and it didn't go well.
How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
The culture shifting. The law is the law, no more DEI hires, and if you don't want to work, bye-bye. Trump offering buyouts to bureaucrats who don't want to return to the office 5 days a week. If you don't want to do a 40-hour work week in person like the rest of us, then these remote rent seekers can resign with severance and benefits until September. Over at the Department of Justice, they're calling it, quote, a wholesale demolition. Every lawyer who worked on Jan 6 cases is getting pink slipped. Quote, it feels like a nonviolent war. It's just wild. Everybody's a sitting duck, and these people have no power or control over the situation. People are just in a state of shock and devastated. This administration wants folks dialed in, hard at work, and up early. Kristi Noem, up at the crack of dawn, 2 a.m., suited up in an ice vest, overseeing the first migrant raids in Manhattan. Less than 48 hours after her confirmation, Noem's out icing illegals, taking out the worst first. Getting dirt bags off the streets is what she calls it. She said she was inspired by her dad.
We were building fence, stretching wires, and out there putting up about 1.5 miles of this fence. And he turned to me and he said, Kristi, where's the post maul? Which is the post pounder that you pound the posts in with. And I turned to him and I said, it's in the truck. And he said, go get it. So with my dad, you ran everywhere you went. I turned and ran to the truck, grabbed the post maul, brought it back to him, handed it to him. And as I handed it to him, he said, you should know what I need before I know what I need. And I remember being a 10-year-old girl thinking, how am I ever going to know what he needs before he knows what he needs? But what he was doing was teaching us to think ahead and to think 3 steps ahead of what he needed.
This whole administration's operating 3 steps ahead. Tom Homan pinched 1,200 migrants yesterday. A lot of them bad hombres. One, a Dominican who beat his pregnant wife to death in front of their kid. He was popped in Boston. The Trump team's publicizing these raids to good effect. It's like Cops, Migrant Edition, running on loop. And it's scaring the caravans into making U-turns. Border crossings are plummeting. Look at that. In a week, Trump slashed Biden's border crossing numbers by more than half. The border's gone quiet, and Trump didn't need Congress to fix it. Just another one of those Biden lies. Marines are getting their hands dirty, welding the border wall shut. While the military plugs holes, ICE says they can finally do their jobs.
This is essentially like an unprecedented whole of government approach that we're experiencing. Some things that have been difficult to coordinate before because there's so many different agencies, we've been able to get everybody in the same room and get kind of real-time updates, real-time intelligence and real-time advice to make sure that we're doing this the right way.
It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Yesterday, cartel gunmen got in a shootout with U.S. Border Patrol while illegals were crossing a river. There hasn't been this much lead flying across the border since the Mexican-American War. Luckily, no one on our side was hit. But securing the border is a dangerous operation. All the media wants to know is who's going to pick our crops.
42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake. You're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1% of alien workers in the entire country work in agriculture. Those 30,000 legal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this.
While Tapper worries whether he'll get his veggies, MSNBC thinks the only country that's ever deported anyone is Germany.
Hitler emerged emboldened after being imprisoned for staging a coup. His rage and xenophobia gained followers after the financial ruin of World War I and the Great Depression, and helped get him selected as chancellor. Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable. History may not repeat verbatim, but it sure does rhyme.
Can you still compare Trump to Hitler every night on TV? Is Comcast cool with that? Trump was almost assassinated twice. By the way, Obama deported more people than any president in American history, over 1,000 a day for 8 years. The media didn't call him Hitler. They praised him as the deporter-in-chief. Barack gave Tom Homan a medal for deporting illegals. Now Democrats give medals for bringing them in. You know who should really get a medal? This guy on CNN.
When kids start asking, why hasn't my best friend come back to school? Why is, why did my friend disappear? When businesses start to shutter, when foreclosures start happening.
No amount, by the way, no amount of berating me about this is going to change the fact that the American people literally just voted for this.
You're right.
They want the criminals out. They want the violent people out. And there's really
not much of a
controversy about it.
Democrats are going crazy over things in their imagination. There hasn't been a single raid at a school yet. And if Homan pulls an illegal gangbanger out of my daughter's school, the correct response is thank you. And if my daughter was best friends with an illegal alien gangbanger, she's grounded. And she's going to have to find new friends. While Democrats were focused on drag queens, reading stories to kindergartners, the rest of the country was like, guys, can you kick out MS-13 and lower the price of gasoline? Some Democrats are realizing they screwed up. The Ragin' Cajun puts it all on the big guy's lap.
It was a problem because President Biden listened to the idiot left and didn't enforce the border. Criminality of all kind should be dealt with harshly. And if there's anybody in this country illegally that's a criminal, they got to be sent back wherever they came from pronto.
Voters wanted change, and Trump listened to them. What you're watching is government working. I know we haven't seen this in a long time. And no one's scared of getting canceled for using common sense. This is what government of the people, by the people, and for the people looks like. Populism emerges when the establishment gets stuck, corrupt, and stops listening. The eruption of radical change that we're witnessing is real, and it's powerful. And it's why the powers that be tried so hard to stifle the rise of Trump. He was spied on, impeached, shot at, arrested, and sabotaged. And now that he's broken through, he's broken them. And nothing is getting in the way. As Politico says, quote, "What we are witnessing is nothing short of a revolution inside the U.S. government." Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.